This is the sPod Bantam X, and today we're going to be installing it on our 392 here on Second Chance Overland. Now that we've got the overhead molle panel from American Adventure Lab installed, it's going to give us plenty of options to install the control panel for our sPod. So that's the first thing we're going to do, is figure out just where we want to have the touch panel. So I've got the bracket here. We definitely want it oriented towards the driver, but still out of the way. So I'm going to try mounting it right here. I think that might be a good place for it. We'll have to see how it is with the latch for the freedom panel. So maybe we should try that next. But it is out of the way. It's not in your sight. Let's put that freedom panel on and see if it interferes with that. All right, that's actually not bad at all. I think that'll work out pretty dang nice. So now we got to route the Ethernet cable from the back of this. We'll route it along the molle panel and down and into the engine bay, where the actual control box is that we'll actually hook everything up to. So this will allow us to add a bunch of accessories and be able to turn them on with a push of a button. Now we do have the factory auxiliary switches, which we do have the overhead light bar and the A-pillar lights mounted to, but quite honestly, the four that they provide are not enough for what we're looking for. So I've got some more lights to add to this, and this is going to give us a lot more ability to control that and keep it separate. Now, one of the nice things about the sPod system is it does have a low voltage cutoff. So if you leave your lights on and the battery starts to drain down, the sPod will automatically cut power to those accessories so that it doesn't kill your battery and leave you stranded with a dead battery. So liking this so far. We'll see how it goes. We'll get started on doing the rest of it. Now the instructions do actually have you do this part last. And there's a couple of ways to do it. One is to fold the windshield down to feed the wire through. The other one is there's a little rubber grommet on the firewall. That's the way I'm going because I do have the KC Gravity Pro 6 light bar. I'd have to take that entire thing off to get the windshield to fold down and feed that wire through. So I'm going to go through the grommet, which is what I did on my Gladiator. That will come out through the firewall, and we're going to try to run it up the A-pillar and part of the plastic here on the roll bar to get it up to the molle panel and over. So I'm going to feed the wire through the firewall, and I'll show you where that grommet is, and then we'll start working on getting this thing brought up and over to the sPod. All right, so on the driver's side, you've got the brake booster here, and let's see if I can get a good shot of this for you. But right down here, there is a little rubber grommet. And I've already taken a step drill and drilled a hole through it. I do have an angled drill that I was able to get in without removing it because, well, I haven't had luck with either the Gladiator or with this vehicle on actually removing that grommet to drill it out. So I used a step drill bit and an angled drill to get in there and drill that hole big enough to feed the wire through. So I've got the hole drilled. We're going to go ahead and start feeding the wire through, pull it into the cab, and then we'll start taking all the plastics and everything apart to get it run up to the actual sPod. All right, so I've got the wire run through the grommet, the Ethernet cable, and inside we've pulled it through quite a ways up underneath the dash. So I'm going to start pulling some things apart so that I can start running it up the A-pillar and over to the molle panel. I'm going to start by trying to take this plastic panel up here off, the grab handle, and I'll take the side cover off, and we'll start feeding that up through the A-pillar and over to the actual sPod unit. All right, so I'm going to start with the grab handle here on the A-pillar. Just need to get something back behind these covers. Pop that loose. And then there is a 10mm bolt that attaches that, and another one down here. So just get a ratchet with a 10mm. All right, so we got both bolts out. So and we just got to get the clips to release. There we go. Speaker cover came off as well. All right, so we're gonna set that off to the side. Gonna remove this side panel. We'll start fishing that wire up through. See if we can't get it to come out where we want it. I did remove the 2 lower bolts here, screws on the roll bar, but there are 2 underneath here, and I'm thinking with having installed this molle panel, it might make it a little difficult to access these 2. So I'm gonna try to do it just kind of how I've got it. I think I've got it loose enough here that I can feed it up through this end and up and over. So we're gonna give that a shot. All right, so we got the cable plugged into the sPod, routed it along the molle panel, a few zip ties to hold it in place, down here through the corner where the plastic meets up in the corner, and then down, wedged it into this crack here so that it's actually inside the plastic here, and then down the A-pillar here. We'll have to figure out the correct positioning for that so that the cover can go back on. Down through this part of the dash and then up underneath. Now we've got that done, we can put the inside back together and get started on mounting the actual source box underneath the hood, which on the 392s there are a couple of different things different than a regular gas Wrangler. And I guess this is the same kit for a diesel as well. So if you have a 392 or you have a diesel, this is the kit and this is what you're going to want to see. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we've got a bracket or a brace to install for the backside of the module. So you've got the air inlet here, you've got your ABS pump here, and there is a 10mm bolt right down there that we need to remove, and that's where the brace is going to be attached. Okay, so we got the bracket installed. It says to not tighten it because you do have to line this up with the bottom of the control box. So the next thing we're going to do is there is a threaded piece that goes underneath this hole, and then we need to remove this bolt and then our source box. And I got to flip this up as well out of the way. And then our box will mount onto these 2 locations and that bracket. Okay, so this little threaded insert. Slides back in there. And then there's a bolt that will thread into that to hold that end of the control box. I'm going to take this small screw and line it up through the box and the bracket here. And let's see here, I want to put that there. All right. So now we can start tightening everything up. All right, so the next thing we need to do is route these cables. All right, so the next thing we got to do is attach the power and ground. Now our negative is going to go to the chassis ground over on this side. All right, so we got that all connected. Now we're going to take our Ethernet cable. We're going to run it up underneath. If I remember correctly, it doesn't matter which one of these ports you plug it into. We got our control panel mounted up, wired up. We've got the Bantam X installed on the Jeep, all wired up, ready to go. So the only thing left now is to start wiring accessories to it. So we're going to get started on that here pretty soon, but that's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, remember, hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you next time on Second Chance Overland.